Thank you, Acting President. I was hoping that we'd have a respectful, rational debate in here today, but it seems that feelings count more than facts. My honourable colleague Rod Caddies has at no time ever stigmatised migrants. His attack is on government policy, on mass immigration. In fact, One Nation acknowledges that migrants from the very outset of the birth of this nation have made a significant contribution, from the Afghans who trekked across this great nation with the camels to the Japanese pearl drivers off Broome. And in fact, I was heartened at a branch launch on Sunday that I had a refugee from South Sudan who came up to me asking to be a branch coordinator. I had another gentleman,
Order, members. Order. Order.
I just remind the honourable.
Order.
I just remind the honourable.
Members. Direct your remarks through the chair.
Just remind the Honourable A.L. McCall-Chewett that the Labor Party was the policy of white Australia for 60 years. It was a policy of the Labor government to divide people on medical choices. It was the Labor Party who wanted to divide this nation on the voice debate. We want one nation, united, relieving poverty, which is created by poor government policies. The problem we have, as Dr Brian Walker, the Honourable Dr Brian Walker has alluded to, is we have had a reduced birth rate for many years, and this has created an economic need for stimulation to the economy. And this has been an easy fix just to have mass migration. And who does this benefit? It benefits the wealthy end of town, because they are shielded from the consequences of mass migration. They have property portfolios. I think I'm correct by saying I'm the owner renter in both houses of this Parliament, so I've seen firsthand the effects of this. I stand to be corrected if that's not correct. I'm also married to a person of culturally and linguistically diverse. I've experienced racism directed towards her. I've experienced racism directed towards 3 of my children who have olive skin. So I don't need lectures about racism from the Labor Party or the Greens. I can tell you that our boss leaves Rod Caddies, the Honourable Rod Caddies and myself, to focus on state politics and on federal politics. Unlike yourselves, who are wedded to Labor policy and can't even think for yourselves. You can't even honour the protocols of this House by constant interruptions, can you?
Order, members. The Honourable Phillip Scott.
Thank you, Acting President. So I say again, our attack is on government policy, it's not on migrants. In fact, about 8 weeks ago, I got an Uber ride from a migrant from Pakistan. And he said to me, I came to this country for a better standard of life, but I'm working like a slave just to make ends meet. So we are protecting this nation, not just for people who support One Nation, for people who migrate here, that their standard of living is maintained. We can debate till we're blue in the face about supply, and that is a problem. No one's denying that. And we do need skilled workers. We do need skilled migrants. I find it absurd that we can't have a discussion on mass immigration. I was listening to 6BR last week, and Trent Fleskins was on 6BR talking in the property segment, and he was asked what the problem is. He said there can be no denying that supply is a problem. But when you have increased sudden immigration post-COVID, it does create an issue. And he said, I'm not saying that from a xenophobic point of view, but purely from an industry point of view. I've tested the waters to see if government ministers really care about the poverty and the working poor that this state are experiencing at the moment. I did question the Honourable Stephen Dawson during budget estimates, a person I greatly respect, and he stated the percentage of people born overseas now is less than the percentage of people who were born overseas who were here in the 1800s. Acting President, I think that's disingenuous because we know everyone at that time was a migrant. It is true, but it's not relevant to today's debate. I think it's a non sequitur argument. And then a fortnight later, the Honourable Dr. Parvinder Kaur rose up to give the fun fact that her DNA was closer to Aboriginal Australians. And this received the media attention. And unfortunately, it became a weapon for the far right, the very people all of us despise. They disseminated footage of the speech through their networks. We are one, we are all Australians, and I repeat that again. A few points were made about how much about migrants contributing to a health system. I don't deny that. My daughter works in the health system, and there was a bunch of statistics reeled off. But the health system requiring so many skilled migrants is actually proof of a health system that is not coping. The Honourable Dr. Kaur verified this by citing Australia ranking the 6th highest in the OECD for internationally trained doctors to 21st lowest for domestically trained doctors per capita. Why do we have such a need for doctors? Could it be because the rate of migration exceeds what we can cope with? Honourable Dr. Kaur stated just last year a record 5,431 doctors from overseas registered to practice in Australia, an 80% increase compared with pre-COVID. And what happened just after COVID? We know mass immigration occurred. So there was nothing in that argument that debunked the argument that the health system is under strain. We're witnessing a health system that is simply not coping, and nobody is calling migrants a burden on society, as has been stated. Our beef is with mass overseas migration. As I stated earlier, I'm the only Member of Parliament who does not own a property, so I don't benefit from rising property prices that some politicians do. I stand corrected if that is a fact. Okay, I'd like to know. Okay, thank you. So we are advocating for the people affected, the people on the ground. And when I hear people saying, what about the children, I would remind them that we have 100,000 children living in poverty in WA, statistics cited by the Child Poverty in Australia 2025 report. Let's hear how mass immigration is helping them. We just need an acknowledgement that there is a problem and that we get back to sustainable migration levels. We know that this is not a state government issue, and we know that Albanese, the Prime Minister, the Honourable Anthony Albanese, will listen to Honourable Roger Cook when he rings him up. So I'll call on the Premier to get on the phone to him. So in closing, I'd just like to reiterate, I'd just like to say actually, the Honourable Jackie Jarvis did mention the Palm project that was initiated by the Morrison government at the federal level, where Pacific Island workers are shipped into this country to work at abattoirs and other places. I've heard on the ground they're treated like slaves. They have rent and board and food taken out of their wages, and what little they have left they send back overseas. Is that the Labour Party of old representing the workers, or is it just an easy fix? So I commend the motion to the House, and I'll give time for my honourable colleague to reply.